Thank you for joining us for the first show in our series of Middle East and North Africa's 50 Best Masterclasses at Yas Marina Circuit, Abu Dhabi. We're very pleased to have everyone here today for what is the first event in the event program, with the awards taking place on the 7th of February. Kicking things off today will be Germany's highest-ranked chef, Mr. Tim Raue of the eponymous Restaurant Tim Raue in Berlin, which currently sits at number 31 in the list of the world's 50 best restaurants 2021. So, without any further ado, as I'm sure you're all very excited for what's in store, please welcome to the stage Mr. Tim Raue. Guten Tag.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you. It's far away from the freezers. And so
nice and cool.
Yeah.
Nice and cool.
Yeah, I'm very close to Will because we'll have him later on the stage. Will Goldfarb. Yeah, there he is. And I want to steal some of his ice cream to refresh myself.
No problem, Will. Please welcome to your kitchen, sir.
Yeah, thank you. It's amazing, huh? Today it's the kitchen of a world's 50 best restaurant. Definitely is not.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Tim today will be preparing 2 dishes from his outstanding Asian-led menu at his restaurant in Berlin, and they're going to be coming out across the course of the masterclass. The first one is going to be, I'm not very good at pronouncing this one, so you might have to do it for me.
I do so, but first of all, I think I will shortly introduce myself and explain a bit about me, because if you see me, I'm a tiny, fatty, white German, and then most of the people ask themselves, why you're cooking Asian? Why you don't cooking like these local German food? The reason is that I was in the beginning of the 2000s, or I became there, the head chef of Swiss Hotel and Raffles Hotels, based in Singapore as global culinary director, but also being executive chef in Berlin in the hotel. And I was traveling a lot to Singapore, and Singapore to me was that melting pot of Asian cuisine. You can find there amazing Vietnamese, Indonesia, Malay food, also of course all the different Chinese food we never heard before and has nothing to do with pork sweet and sour. So the serious stuff, you know. And that really opened my heart up, because trained in Germany, I was with French food. And there's nothing against that. But the problem to me is like French food is always seeking for harmony. And harmony is nothing which has a place in my life. I want to kick pallets. I want to kick asses. I want to make fun. To explain it shortly and bring it on the point, instead of like listening to classic music in a theater done by maître d's. I want to have house music, fun. I want to see the people having fun with the food, enjoying the service, and like licking the plates because they are so amazing, and not cherishing like any stars, Gomio points, or whatever. And so thanks to God, honestly, I get, first of all, the luck that I came on the world's 50 best list by accident. You cannot ask me why or what. This is something the list has to explain. But it means, like, to me, that I was traveling the world, showing my knowledge, showing my cooking, introducing myself, and motivate people that there are no borders in cooking, that you're open to do whatever you want. Even if you're a tiny, fatty, white German, you can be very successful cooking Asian food. And as a non-Asian, you have the chance that you can blend these styles. So you will never find a Chinese chef using Thai ingredients and cooking with a Japanese twist. And even you will not find clients who cherish that, because Chinese clients want to have it the strict way, the traditional way. Of course, nowadays they are also a bit more open-minded, but 20 years ago, when I did it, there wasn't. And the other side, and that's the most important, is that 50 Best open up my world. Instead of having local customers, people from all around the world traveled, pre-COVID, to us. And the difference between having 2 Michelin stars, what we had, or we have, and 90.5 points of Gomio, is you have a different clientele. You have young people, people who are in the middle age like me, but have an esprit and want to have fun, wearing sneakers, shorts, whatever. Just going in a restaurant as you are. and not in a kind that someone tell you what to do, when to do, and what to wear. And that was for us phenomenal. And then we came, not on the next level, but on the same level, we get also a Netflix episode. And since that year, it happened within 1 year, we didn't know what it means to have an empty chair. And that is so amazing because that also changed your word as a business person. And that is really important because to me, cooking always, make it on 8, please, is always also the chance to making money. It's not only art. We're not cooking for like 10 people or 20 in the main restaurant. We do 100 covers per day. And that also means we have more than 40 employees, which has to be paid. And that is so amazing because you have a self-confidence. It is like that if you do TV, what I also do, you have the quotes before you start the show. You know it's fully booked. And this is what I really love and what really makes me proud. And to me, it's like, I come from the streets. I grew up in absolutely poverty in Berlin. The first language I ever learned was Turkish because we was, at that time, the 4th biggest Turkish city in the world in Berlin, in Kreuzberg. We had 190,000 Turkish people. And I learned a lot from them. They were so amazingly host. Even if there was even poorer than my mother was, they shared the food with us. They showed me what Germans never could, to be open arms in a house and sharing food. And I get some tasted what was pure, really heart-touching. And this is one of the reasons if 50 Best asked me to come here to the region, it's not that far from Turkey. And I had a restaurant recently in Dubai, but we closed it after a year because we made a lot of mistakes. Also, that happened in life. But I said, I have to come because, 50 Best is so different. And what I wanted to tell you is, like, we had a lot of tattoos in the early days. It was more like bikers and hooligans, and I was part of that. But I tried it once, and the needle was hurting me so hard that I was immediately start crying. I'm a bit of a pussy with that. But 50 Best is the thing one day I want to have as a tattoo because it changed my life. It changed the life of my business partner, Marianne, and of the entire team and the restaurant. So this is the reason why I'm here. Of course, they fly me over business class, and we're in a very nice spot. But and the weather is amazing, guys. Berlin that day, -5 degrees, snowing. I brought Steve with me. He's my culinary director. He's with me since 2005, so 17 years. And you can see he has more white hairs than me, so it's pretty hard to work with me because I'm always challenging. I'm always want to do the next step. And the 2 dishes we brought to you, they're both 100% restaurant, so we don't do any catering stuff today and do something for €3. No, we smuggled all in. Thanks to Abu Dhabi officials, we were allowed that time, first time. And we brought a local fish, pike perch, which we do sangohashi style, with green Japanese radish, with the salad, with elderflower sands and wasabi. And this is where we're starting with, I think so, because the bell was ringing. And we have, helping hands, and we start now. Yeah, that's good. You need people who help you. Even if you start a business and a restaurant, you need someone who is being your mentor. That is something which is really important, and it is one of the reasons why I do Masterclasses, also to motivate to be their sponsors. And even if you're someone who's selling to restaurants and hotels, invest in the young generation always, because they will pay back one day, because then they become executives. Today, Prabhat is trying to bring the fish in the plate. Please, much faster. Thank you. And maybe tomorrow or in a year, he's an executive chef, and he will ever remind that San Pellegrino gave him 2 bottles of water and a business class ticket to Berlin to make a 2 weeks internship. That's just a dream, Prabhat. Sorry, kidding you. And give them the chance then that for the rest of his life, you can be sure he will sell San Pellegrini because that changed his life.
What is it with the pike perch? Why have you selected that to go with this particular dish?
The reason was no. I do it. Please, you have to do the salad. Thank you. I have now to start working.
Sure.
Bring your ass a bit like this. Yeah. Yeah, this is very important also to see how we work. Huh? We don't have to be on the back anymore. Time changes, and it's also chefs do, so we don't yell at anyone and tell them what is. No, we are nicely speak with the people, motivate them, and see Prabhat enhanced his pace for like 3 times. You do amazing, man. And here we go. And the pike perch is a local fish, very close to the sea bass. Even, I think, a bit better. I love it much more. And the sangohashi paste coming from Japan. Service. Yalla. Service, please come and take your plates. You get your cutlery all, guys? No cutlery? Come on. Yalla. You have to come from both sides. Grab your cutlery. If not, the fish will be cold. Faster, faster, faster. So the sangohashi is a paste made from cooked rice, which is infected with bacteria. And then in the next step, you can marinate like vegetables with it or what we do, the fish. And it gives the fish a different texture. It's more moisture, very, very beautiful. Look, if salad is on, you can take it. Huh? God gave you 2 hands, 2 plates, and here we go to the guest. And so normally, sangohashi is used to be the base for sake. And that is the reason why we cook a sake beurre blanc. And then, as side, we have green radish, once as a puree, and on top as a salad. And the dish is showing one of my facets of my personality. Like, cooking to me always means that it is a mix between, like, a craft, and the craft is to cut a perfect fillet of a fish and also then cook it on the point. But the artist is the one who is creating the flavors and the textures around and make it so unique that you satisfy guests, that they get a smile on their face and they want to come back to your restaurant. And that's cooking at the end. And coming back on that dish, it is pretty much elegant and it shows the facet of myself which you cannot see so often. It's the butterfly. And the butterfly effect to me means that that dish is very light, has a punch of flavors, but it's very light. So all my cooking is completely gluten-free. We don't serve any kinds of rice, noodles, potatoes, starch products, no bread. We want the guest, if they have the 7 courses in the restaurant, that they stand up 100% fulfilled with energy, full of fun and enjoying what they're doing, instead of being fed up and need like 2 digestives to make an around the restaurant and feeling themselves they're totally over-fooded. So,
is
Mark,
that a recent thing?
Sorry?
Is that recently you've gone carb-free?
I changed that 2007. You need some cutlery.
I do, thank you.
No, I did it 2007 if I changed my cooking to 100% Asian.
Right.
And I studied mostly Chinese food and Chinese medicine cooking. And there is one of the reasons. The other one is like, don't use any kind of white sugar. All dairy products we use are lactose-free. And yeah, then go for it. You enjoy it? You cannot clap in the hands, I know, but... The spiciness is always, and even if the butterfly comes around, we have some jelly of green Thai chilies. This is what I love, is spiciness, is happiness in my life. But the spiciness, in the beginning of my career, I was over-spicing. The reason was, I thought no one ever will recognize me. So what you can do, you can dress yourself in colors, I do, and you can do food which really punches to your palate. And I'm still very colorful in what I'm wearing, but more importantly is that I brought a bit more balance, not harmony, but balance in the food. And we always try to, of course, take the main ingredient, in the focus in the middle to cherish it and say, yeah, you're the most beautiful pike perch we can serve. But to me, I always say I'm not a produce fetish. I'm more in flavors. For me, everything is about flavors. If it's not tasty, I give it if the produce is excellent. That's me. That's highly individual, you know. That doesn't have to be copied or done on another place on the world, but it's me, 100%. And this is something where I really want to come on the point. What is the difference to being in a 50 best restaurant than like being a Michelin star restaurant? I think 50 best can explain it better, but from my point of view, there was created because there was some guys who wanted to have a list which is not only about traditional French idea of fine dining. And that means in any how you do it. And if you see the list these days and you check the restaurants, most of them are independent ones. What is the reason or why? Because they are highly individual. They see borders, they go over it. If you work in a hotel, you know, you have to make food costings and food tastings, and they're sitting F&B managers, general managers, and sales managers. I all love them. No, but yeah, I all love them. But what they have the hell to do with food, or what they have to do with the concept of a restaurant, which is led by service and kitchen, and both on the same level. That is also something which I never understand, that the chef is like the one and only, and service, yeah, is bringing the food. No, service is giving the atmosphere, and you will never ever be, as we are also, clients and be repeater if the food is amazing but you feel like. So this is something which I think is the most important thing. And these independents give you the freedom to give your people clothes. You will see later on Will's team, they're wearing batik as a dress or as a uniform. That's amazing. You will not find in the whole world. Yeah, it is. That is. And now I do belly dancing with it. No. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it shows and showcases, you know, everyone who's wearing that, he's free. I'm wearing Prussian blue because that's where my roots from. And it was hardly to get from me because I didn't have really parents properly. I just had grandparents where I saw, like, as a child, all 6, 7, 8 weeks. And these are where my roots from. But I had to remind that. And I mix up this Asian cooking with my Prussian roots. Prussia is the region in the north of Germany. We are highly exact. We're always on point. And I'm highly pedantic at home and in the kitchen. But on the other hand, that makes me successful. That is the reason why I run 9 restaurants, doing 4 TV shows, and also doing advertisement these days. And for sure, I don't have to work until 65 to retire.
Very nice. Very nice. So, I mean, the transition from working in a hotel kitchen, did you launch your own restaurant immediately after that, or was it?
The hotel kicked me out. That only happened in my whole career twice. It was my first position as a head chef. They didn't have the same pace like I had. You know, I get in the first year 15 points, and then I want to have 18 on, of course, a star. And there was, no, it's so beautiful because the restaurant before had 13 points is enough. I said, no, cannot. I want to go big steps. And the second time was that then the general manager told me, you know, we don't want you to serve to our clients no bread, no rice, no French. If someone comes and wants to have French fries, he gets French fries. Say, no, them. I don't want. And we can make it very successful to say no if you do it polite and nice and you offer them something amazing, can work. Doesn't work every time. Like if we opened in Dubai, I think it was in 2017, 18, something like that. I wasn't properly in Dubai. I was in the best restaurants, but not in the best business places. And we didn't understand that we needed a party location, that French fries with Parmesan and truffle sauce was the hot where I said, yeah, for me it's also 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, those are after work food, but not as something serious. And also we were in an area where we was not licensed. Right. And we did it because we were so stupid that we thought it will run without alcohol, especially for the expats. No, it wasn't. But what you learn of that, you close the place and you sort out what is doing next.
Sure, sure. Well, I'm sure they'd happily have you in Abu Dhabi if you wanted to open here with your style of food.
Now I'm too old for that.
Too old?
Yeah, I'm too old. You know, I'm so happy because I have everything like in Germany or in the German-speaking market, and that's amazing. I do a pop-up restaurant on the Maldives so that I can make a winter break every year in Soneva. And funny thing is also, you know, if you connect it with the 50 best, like Julien Roger now coming, one of the most amazing chefs in the world, he's now at Soneva. I was there like 3 weeks in January. He took over now, and then he's coming also to be on the 50 best. So you always meet up. You have connections. You know, you give the others the opportunity to cook someone. Someone is inviting you. So if you want to go where the sun is, you always find a spot for you.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why cooking in the Maldives for a couple of weeks can appeal. I found it quite interesting when you were talking about how you started moving away from being too impactful in terms of the flavor and trying to bring it back a little bit. Was there a moment where you realized that, cool, I'm really trying to smack people too hard with every dish?
No, that I was ignoring most of the times, but it was a private, like a second break in my life. My ex-wife, still business partner, and I, we privately divorced. And that gives me the opportunity to give a completely new view of my life and what I want to do and who I want to be. And that also, yeah, you know, if someone break up with you, you reflect yourself. So what is wrong? Maybe you're too loud. Maybe you're too intense. For me, it was 100% that I was like that. And every time, because I was working too much, you know, for me, until 41, I was like working 6-7 days per week, mostly 16 to 18 hours. I was traveling 200 days per year, and all to me was like cooking because I don't have anything else. You know, if you come from nothing, I never ever even finished school properly. So cooking was the one thing I was a bit talented. And even there, I started more making a hotel career as executive chef. I became head chef was 23, executive chef was 28,
wow.
And then global chef was 31. And then I saw there's a talent also in cooking. And then I changed being a fine dining chef. And that was a totally new career because then from making a banquet for 3,000, you're starting to cook like for 30. And that was fun. But it was too much. And so I balanced myself a bit. And now I have my beautiful wife, Katerina, stepped in my life, the sun, the blossom of my life every day. And she shows me that there's something else than cooking. And that is a lot of fun. Yeah. And honestly, now I'm spending more in fashion, but it's great.
Great that it can come
in
through in your food.
Will, huh? Yeah.
And it's quite interesting hearing you speak there about how when you were a young chef, you'd be doing 18-hour days. What kind of culture do you try and breed with your team at the moment?
You know what I tell the people all the time? There's a difference to being a slave and invest in yourself. And I never ever ask for like get paid an hour or so. I went to the older ones. Like we had a female pastry chef. She was extraordinary. And I asked her if I can start with her because she started at 6 in the morning, the rest of the kitchen at 10. And just spending 4 hours and get taught about how to work with chocolate and how to bake, how to make ice cream. And this is something what I love to do. So there is really a difference. And you're free to quit your job, especially these days, you know. In the entire world, we are all seeking for stuff in service and kitchen. And of course, it is easier like going to the Waitrose and work there as a sommelier, like being in one of the 50 best restaurants sommelier, because you have challenging people, you have challenging guests. But what it will be the life sitting at home after an 8-hour job, looking 10 hours of Netflix, be bored. You know, for me, it's having a restaurant, being a restaurateur is very social. Because what you do for others. You share it with others. And you get a lot of feedback. And I know a lot of guys working like in the finance industry or so, and they're always complaining, saying, no one tell me it's very great that I make 2 million per day with my shares and wow, I invest. And we can say, you know, we have 100 clients per day, 5 are, let's say, difficult, challenging, and 95 are happy. really happy. They enjoy it. And they give you a smile. They give you tips. They give you motivation. And could life be more grateful like that? I'm very humble. Every morning, if I wake up, the first thing I see is the emails where I see the restaurants, what they make, and expenses and money and whatever. This is the first thing I'm watching. Always scared that no one comes anymore in the restaurant. They're not fully booked. They're not making money. And if I have that, like 1.5 minutes, then the first thing is that I do prayers and say, thank you. Thank you that I can live the life I live now. And I saw that it will end with 41. Now I'm very, very close to 48. And life is better to me than ever before. And I think one thing is really my grandfather always say, and he say that, and in German it sounds much better than in English, halt die Schnauze und arbeite. That means shut the up and work. And do that every day. Never complain. And if you're successful, don't run out and tell everyone that you're great. Then be over-humbled. And this is something which I love, really love.
And you still work in the kitchen. You do as many shifts as Steve, or are you when you're not endorsing various products? And
no, it's different. I'm not the one who is now starting like the fillet, the pike perch. I don't do that anymore, to be honest. But whenever I'm in Berlin, of course, I'm in the restaurant. For all 9 restaurants, I'm creating 100% of the dishes with the teams. But I'm still now. It's even more. Like last year, I was traveling 270 days. Doing TV shows, being in the different restaurants, and most of the clients don't want to see me in the kitchen. No. They want to see me outside. And if you see the highest value these days for the younger generation, it's a selfie. Even if they get a plate with food, it's good, but selfie. And so you also have to fulfill that, because if this is attracting people to come to the places where you are, you do.
We've all spoken a lot and heard a lot about the recent lockdowns, and you had a very, very successful period with your delivery concept.
Yeah, that was fun, because I had a Chinese casual restaurant concept in mind, and it was like naming Fu Kin Great, so great, but in a Chinese way, and I wanted to make a fun restaurant. But it wasn't open, the concept was not ready, and the problem was like 8 out of my 9 restaurants shut down. I have 4 restaurants on cruise ships. 3 are in luxury retirement homes, which in Germany was directly closed, so there was no way in or out or anything. And then I have a restaurant where I do the recipes of my grandma, and the main restaurant. And what we did is that we set up a delivery service called Fucking Great with the dishes from all 5 restaurants. So we break it down to casual because, of course, you cannot send food at home on a 2-star, 50 best, 90-point level. That's impossible. But you can make it on a casual level. And in the first lockdown in Germany, we only was delivering around Berlin, so we had 9 cars. So all the service stuff was doing with the cars around. We was sending between 600 to 700 dishes per day out. And then in the second lockdown, we started to send it in the German-speaking markets, so Swiss, Austria, and Berlin. And we was doing like more than 1,000 menus per day. And that was...
Yeah.
Hardly.
And I can imagine it's a good advertisement for the restaurant. People
and the funny thing was we were able to pay the staff 100%. You know, we didn't have to send anyone home, and we had a lot of restaurant which was closed down. People get like set up also mentally because they're just sitting at home watching TV, Netflix, so they lose a lot of energy. And our staff was like, boom, boom, boom. We were challenging them, but it was also very challenging to me because we had to set up 2 different menus per week. And that means being highly creative. And we did a world tour. So even we met palette-wise 50 best friends from around the world. Jorge from Quintonil. We went to Singapore. We were around the world. Tokyo, you name it. Whatever it was, we did it. And that was pretty much fun. You tell me if you need me for the crisp, huh? Thank you. And that was something what I think what is really important also, be highly flexible. But if anyone asks me, say, oh yeah, now it's great, you know, you learn a lot, and say, no, it. there was millions of people dying. You know, we made it. We survived. And thanks to God, especially like in Western Europe, we had a lot of payments by the governments. But if you ask, like on my cruise ships, 95% of my stuff comes from the Philippines. There was nothing. So I wasn't able to hold them all and to pay them all the time. They're not hired by me. They're hired by the cruise ships. But all the sous chefs and all the pastry chefs are paid directly and tried to keep them close because they had nothing. They come from like 1,500, which feeds 6 families, to 0. And so to me, pandemic was big. And I cross fingers that like maybe in 2023, we can bring that behind us and we can start again. And move forward.
And would you ever think about launching another restaurant outside of Germany?
No, I will not do any more restaurants, to be honest, because the baby is Restaurant Tim Raue. And this one we want to keep in the list as long as we can and push it. And it costs a lot of energy. It's like 50% of my creativity and my energy goes just in that project. And, you know, there's also the difference as a chef. If you open-minded to the rest, sometimes even the highest ranked chefs are smiling about TV, but you have to imagine what the difference is. Standing in the kitchen for like an entire month is the same payment like one day in TV, you know, and then TV to advertisement is like doing 1 week of TV and just doing 1 day of photo shooting. And so it changed. You know, you see, you understand how to make money and how the world routes around. And a restaurant costs a lot of power and energy. And in my entire life, I opened up 56 restaurants. So in the earlier career, what I did for the hotel brands I was working for, there was times I was looking like 60. And I'm so happy that I recovered from all of that, and I'm happy with 9 restaurants and the things I have to do. So, no. And I don't want to have a fixed restaurant around the world because then you always have to fly like 6 to 10 hours somewhere. And no, that's up for the young generation.
Sure.
And they're coming.
I think this the dish which you'll be serving to the audience next is one of your signatures that's been on the menu for some time.
Yeah, it's the one what makes us really successful. It's called wasabi langoustine. And for all the one of you who knows, of course, the wasabi prawns from the Chinese cuisine coming up in 2001 from Singapore, then going around the world, I fell totally in love to that one. And I thought, how can I make it individual? So first of all, we substitute the cheap prawns to the queen of the seas, langoustine, fine like a pillow, sweet like nothing can be sweeter coming out of the sea, an amazing bite. And this we pair instead of fresh fruits with a Thai-style vinaigrette, with fish sauce, with some lime in, with green mango, ripe mango, carrots, and in the first version, we also deep-fried it, the langoustine, and covered it then with wasabi mayonnaise and gave some rice crisps. We did that dish for like almost 8 years in the entire world. Life is changing. So what I did now is bringing a bit more elegance to the dish. So we steam the langoustines, and instead of deep-frying them and covering them with half of a kilo of mayonnaise, which make that beautiful shape, but isn't really amazingly great to the body. We make a cream cooked from cabbage and flavored with wasabi. We have it very beautiful. We have dots of lime gel. Below you have the puree. There is the vinaigrette and the mango gel. And then the langoustine comes on top. And the crispiness is very fine and thin layers of wasabi and lime cooked and then brought in shape, crispy, from one of the young guns working with me, much more talented than me. And this is something which I love also, you know, to have guys around you and to motivate them, to bring them up, to feature them, bring them in the show light. This is something which makes me even more proud than getting self-awards because, I don't know, it's like, I think I don't have children and I will never have, but that must be like if you have children and you see them like winning a soccer game and you're more cheering to them than you do to yourself. It is so amazing, and I enjoy that very much, and I'm very gifted that I have a lot of talents with me.
Very nice, very nice. So is there any particular young chefs you're working with that we should keep an eye out for?
I hope that I can present her at the San Pellegrino Young Chef Award coming up.
Fantastic.
And let's see. Still, you know, that's sometimes the difference with the young chefs, that they don't want to be in the focus. They don't want to step in the light of Instagram. But if they're in the light of real working, and if they feel the pressure, and there's a different pressure if you stand in front of an audience and you have to play it by yourself and everyone is watching you, and you think by yourself, you know, that's a 50 best dish. Is that a 50 best dish? Is that good enough to serve to you? Are you sure? Are you sure? And if you overthink that, you. And they have to learn, and especially people who are highly creative and highly sensitive, overthinking things. And for me, I can help myself, you know. That side is the head chef, diva, creative, highly sensitive. The other one is the restaurateur. He's kicking the ass and say, come on, let's make money. Don't in your pants, do the dish. Hurry up. And I think I heard the clock ringing. Need some more time? Okay. He will tell me.
And which half do you prefer, the business half or the creative half?
Oh, yeah. Tough one. No, the one I love the most is Tim. That's the guy who's never wearing the chef's jacket anymore, and is the private person walking out, drinking a big bottle of red wine at the end of the evening. Yeah, the other one, they're still fighting. But it's amazing, you know, because I forgot everything. So I start every day new. I'm not physically, or I don't have anything, but it means like I end a day every time, or every day my email income is 0 if I go to bed, and I start every day with then what coming up, the jobs, the schedule, and whatever. And every day, if I wear my chef's uniform, I also have my silver spoon with me, which I give to my team. Every year they get the ones which are engraved with their initials, and on the top side it's like the biggest accolades. So here is, of course, 31. Yeah. Highest ranking ever in 50 Best for us, and we are so wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay. And there's also, I became #1 in Germany at the Rolling Pin magazine. It's a magazine for restaurateur and things like that. And I gave it to them once to say thank you. But the other hand, always, if you see that spoon and if you start working, you see the numbers, you know what you're dedicated for, what you have to bring, that you need the perfection, that you want to push yourself over the boundaries every day. And that is amazing, and that makes me happy. And so I start every day and enjoy it again.
Great. I mean, you've been very kind.
Thank you.
Thanks. You've always been one of the 50 Best greatest fans, and it's really great to see you whenever we go around the world, various bits of places. But what do you think is the best thing that being in the ranking gave you the opportunity to do?
First thing I have to say, I think, and that is to me and my colleagues, is I think the first 3 is special, and then from 4 to 50, it doesn't really matter what number you are or where you rank. It is that you're part of a family. You're part of the family where you meet minimum once per year, sometimes more often, but with 50 Best once per year, and you can share. And there's no, no one is jealous. Like if I start in Germany, come on, fire, faster. In Germany, most of the chefs, they're complaining, say, how can that guy be 50 Best? How he can have still 2 stars and doing so much TV? How he's doing so much money and we are not? And that guy, he cannot work like every minute. No, but I'm very good in being delegating. And this is what I learned pretty good in the time I was like the executive chef. And with 50 Best, everyone tells you his problems, the mistakes they made, or I made by myself. You want to go with that, or? Thank you. And it is so open. You know, it's really like a family without having any problems or any fights. That's the one thing. The other thing I mentioned at the beginning, you don't have to think anymore about customers. You're done with that. You're totally done. Just for 1 year, but to be honest, I don't want that it ends. We all know it ends. Like 7, 8 years, you can be in the ranking. Some gets like 10 years, but then there's coming, and it's right, there's coming the new generation. And they have to come on the light. But to be honest, I think, please guys, service. Hey, plates like that, huh? Thank you. You have to move away because there is a new young gun coming up. And that's right away the one which we have to do. But I will cry, I'm for sure. I know it.
Well, you're still going in the right direction.
Yeah, but you never know, you know. Every year I tell everyone in the restaurant, if they say, yeah, next year we're going up like 2 ranks or so, I say, no, it doesn't matter. If I'm sitting there, you know, in the audience, and it starts with number 50, I'm aware that it's my name coming up, I have to stand up, and I have really to be humble and thankful that we are still there. And the opportunities you have, you know, because people from all around the world are inviting you, and I don't mean someone wants to cook at home. It's hotels, it's restaurants, it's colleagues. Everyone asks you to come, to join, and that means that you have the ability, like going to South Korea, New York, Sydney, wherever in the world, to cook, to get, please start eating, Mark. Sure. You learn, or you meet new people, new customers, new produce. Maybe you meet someone who's making a show with you or is inviting you, someone aboard. And this is really out of the box. That is amazing. That is, you cannot even dream about that. You know, if I was young, I mean in the middle of 30s or beginning of 30s, where I thought, now I want to be a serious head chef. I wanted to have 2 Michelin stars, and I was sure that I will do it, you know? But never ever I dreamed about being one of the 50 best. You must imagine, we are more than 8 billion of people. I don't know how many 100,000 of chefs are existing in the world, and you're 1 out of 50. So shut the up, be thankful, but go out and tell the others that it's so amazing, that it's worth to invest whatever you have, whatever you can, to enter that list one day. And even if it's not only for 1 year.
Well, I'm sure you've got plenty of time left in the list.
Let's see. But
this dish just looks, I mean, it's immaculate the way it's plated. I mean, how can somebody, a home cook, try and replicate your style of plating in terms of the colors, the sizes of the portions?
We had that. Mark asked me that before. And you know, guys, I'm very bad in selling things I don't like. So I have my cookbook with me, that one. I made it if we did the Netflix episode, because the Netflix guys told me you need an English book. And it's half biography and the other half is recipes. And always, if I have to show up the book, like if I'm on my cruise ships doing a speech, whatever, I tell the people, you can buy that. It's a coffee table book, amazingly. But if you try to cook anything from that for at home, you need a Thermomix, you need a Pacojet, so you have to invest all around like 20,000 euros just in technique. Then you have to buy all the stuff which is inside. Then you need approximately, I need approximately 3 to 4 chefs, 2 days of mise en place, 1 guy who is just doing the dishwasher, and then maybe I will come close to one of the recipes who are in there. So no, don't do that. Buy it as coffee table book and go in restaurants. This is what I do. I don't cook at home. Go in restaurants. It's so amazing. It's so social. You can see other people. You can meet one. You can make your date happy, whatever. But don't try to cook out of books from highly awarded chefs.
Well, let's take it back a bit then. I mean, the langoustine you've used there is obviously very, very good quality. How can I be sure that I'm selecting the best quality langoustine when I'm in the fishmonger?
I think all of you on Instagram, huh? I think there's one guy, he will come up on the world's 50 best list shortly, Mr. Neeland from Australia. That young guy was doing the most amazing book about fish, and buy it. And there you will have everything what you need about fish. Before I tell you, you have to watch the eyes. And if the eye is clear, then buy it. What means a clear eye? So no, Neeland is one of them who can. It is hard. I think, what I like very much is that you have supplier, which are loyal with you for, in my case, decades. My caviar dealer, I do business with him since 27 years.
Wow.
And so since I'm 20. And this is the most amazing thing, to grow also with them. Even if you have the fishmonger, and you start buying like a cheap Malutza for €2 per kilo, and one day for a date you buy a turbot for 45 or maybe at the moment, or 60. And this is find the places. To be honest, all around the world, you can find amazing markets, except Germany. We don't have the culture. We have
Why
the
is that,
culture
do you think?
because people love their cars. They're addicted to the BMW and Mercedes. They gave them the oil they buy for the cars is like 3 times higher the price than for the olive oil they buy from the counter. But time changed. Like the younger generation we see. We changed also our menu since 2 years. We have a complete vegan menu because vegetarian went over, and vegetarians we had like 3-4% in the restaurant. Nowadays vegan are 15%. Even like 50 best clients coming from around the world, the younger generation, they're looking for vegan dishes. And but coming back to produce, like going to a Waitrose here in Abu Dhabi, the selection is much better than the best discounter I find in Berlin, Germany.
Really? That's
Yeah,
mad.
it is disgusting, but it's like that. We still have a long way to go there to pay amazingly for sausages we do, but if it's about fish, if it's about local herbs, local vegetables, people don't see the value and don't pay the price for it.
And do you notice the guests who come to your restaurant from Berlin and Germany, further afield, do you mind cooking a vegan menu, or do you mind preparing a vegan menu?
They are, but Berlin is a special place. We have a lot of tech industry and the startup generation, and these guys are really aware of what they eat and how they act. And some of them is a bit over activism, but a lot is real and is great. And so, like, if we see the local clients, like 30% of them they eat vegan. And we had, at the moment, still local, but before, pre-COVID, we didn't had a handful of Germans or Berliners a week in the restaurant because they are not familiar and they're not used to do a reservation 3 months in advance. And but luckily to us, because if the borders were closed, we only had the locals, and they said, now we are coming because we only need a week to get a table. And so we were filled up for 1.5 years only with locals, thanks to God. But now we're a bit running out, so we need open borders again.
Yeah, I think that's the same story across the world. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank
really,
you.
really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think we've got about 10 minutes for questions from the audience. If anyone would like to ask Tim a question, just hands up and there will be a microphone presented.
Thank you.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hey. So obviously you've got a lot of people around you that you inspire and look up to you and you mentor. But who do you look up to? Who inspires you?
Great question.
In the start, it was Marco Pierre White. He was like really a hooligan in the kitchen, handling. But the guy made a cookbook which was called White Heat. So heat from kitchen, hot heat. And there was like some sentences, very hooligan style, roughly, God gave you the hands not to burn, do them, burn them, be faster. And I love that at the beginning of my career because that always means like you can go higher. If you can push it up, and if someone tells you 50 centimeters go over, you can get 1 meter. In cooking, it was Jean-Georges von Grichten, because that was one of the guys who mix up Asian, French food, and I love the flavors. For me, it was always the problem that classical fine dining was tasteless. I need colors. I need taste. I'm a very intense person about that. And this is the reason why nowadays art and fashion is inspiring me. So if I see a certain color, if I see an artist like Maya Hayuk, if I see her artwork, that gives me so much power and energy that I'm directly starting to have an idea for a dish. And I think you have to keep that. And you have to be with open eyes around the world. You need inspiration. And whatever it could be to you, find it and work with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Yes, gentleman in the blue top, please.
I'm a chef apprentice. I'm 22 years old. What is the one piece of advice you would give to thousands of apprentices like me to actually think differently and build up our own way of cooking? Because we know that we learn, say, the basic French cuisine, and then we come up with the basics, like we need to learn how to make a stock first, we need to learn how to make a beurre blanc first. But at the same time, how would you advise a young apprentice to think differently?
Where are you from?
Me? I'm from Switzerland.
And where are your roots from?
Indian.
Okay. Thank you for the question. It's amazing because I forgot to tell. And I think it's one of the most important things to give. So for me, there was a day of change. It was 2006, and I get within 1 week my first Michelin star and became the first time chef of the year in Germany. And I get both for a kind of cooking I didn't like. I was cooking to please the guest, but not myself. So in that night where we had the big celebration, was cooking, one of the most important food critics came to me and said to me, you're just on the beginning of your career. I said, what the f***? I'm 31, I'm nearly on the peak, so what do you mean? He said, no. I expect a lot from you. And I said, what is the meaning of that? And then I wake up really, and I was looking in the mirror and asked myself who I am. What do I love? What I really want to do from tomorrow on. And it was that thought that I had since 2003 that I get infected with Asian food and Asian flavors. But I didn't have the backbone. I was not strong enough. I was not self-confident enough to tell the entire world, you all, with your expectations, I cook what I want. But I did from the next day on. And they fired me in the Swiss hotel. And it makes me even more successful because, if you go the hard way, and this is very right, no pain, no gain. It is real, it's true. Then you do what you want. And the guests from the first day on, they filled the new restaurants, wherever I was. It was fully booked, and they loved it. And I get the applause. The critics, they needed some time. But give it a shit. You have to love what you do. And ask yourself, even where you're from, where are your roots from? Can you use anything from that? Can you visualize that for you? Because, I need that. I need that dress to remember myself because I forget everything. And there I know I'm Prussian. I'm Tim. I only do what I love. Whatever you want to pay me, I tell you, you if I don't want it. And I serve the food I love with all my passion to every single person. If you don't love it, you can go. You can rate me 0, whatever it makes. I have to be happy in the moment the plate with my dish is leaving. That's the essential. Go that way. Will be hard, but maybe successful. And one day you stand here. I cross fingers for you because you cannot imagine. It's amazing.
Great answer. Really great.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's about all we've got time for. And then a big round of applause. Please give it up for Mr. Tim Raue.
Thank you. Thank you.